the Fortress Comic News, episode 135. I'm one of your hosts, Chris. Alongside, he is definitely not the birthday boy, Mike.
Oh, but he is.
I am.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday to me.
That's why we're doing a Saturday morning show. Just for you, buddy. Just for you on this special day.
My present?
Yeah. Well, we probably both still have a groggy voice. You know.
My present is to wake up early after working a 15-hour shift. Yay!
Yay! He is happy though, I swear. Was anyone ever really happy? We're not going to get into that today. We do not have an interview today. We're just going to chat it up. As far as Friday nights go, I had a pretty good Friday night. Instead of playing video games, I played Magic the Gathering. Have I told you that I've gotten into Magic?
You have privately, yes.
Okay, privately.
You've come out privately to me, and now this is your public coming out ceremony.
Yeah. So I only know a little bit about Magic from my older cousins when I was in high school would play it, and I just thought the cards were cool. I think nonetheless, if you just look at the art of the cards, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's all like painted cards, stuff like that. And for me, I'm a printing nerd because that's the industry I work in. So I've been looking at the cards and how they're printed and how they're manufactured. I think that's really cool too, because I know a lot about that. Which is like useless talent number one. Like, wow, look how shiny it is and stuff, and it's like the printing's amazing. But so someone at work had actually bought us like starter decks. He's a really cool guy. He reads comics and stuff, so obviously he's okay in my book. And he buys us starter decks, and a few of us guys at work played at lunch break, and now we're playing like every lunch break because it's a lot of fun. It's almost like a quick version of D&D, because a lot of the it's Wizards of the Coast, so it's pretty fairly easy to pick up. Like when you remember the turns and stuff, and the creatures are really cool. The different ways you can do spells, blah blah blah. But so, long story short, I played there was a release party last night there's a game shop like a block from my apartment that I've just never been to. And what you do is you buy in they give you like 6 booster packs for this new release that's not out until next week. So you open those booster packs and you make a deck on the fly, a 40 card deck, and then you compete with it. So it's 3 rounds of 3 games. So it's best of 3 each round. And so the hard part for me is making a deck. I've never done that before on the fly. And there's guys there that like made a deck in like 30 seconds. They give you like 40 minutes, and I was like super intimidated by that. They're like bam, bam, like throwing cards around like they know what they're doing. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. My friends were there, and so like we discussed it. They helped me out. I ended up drawing all 3 rounds. So you get a booster pack that they don't even sell yet for drawing. So I didn't lose any round. I drew all rounds, and it's pretty cool. They give you like a Wizards of the Coast gaming number and stuff that you could track online. It tells you where you played, and it was pretty cool. And I mean, a lot of the pre-release parties, a lot of people are like, they're not like shunning you because you're a noob, because it's like everybody's new to these cards. It's the first time these cards have been out, so it's pretty cool, man. I'm enjoying it at least.
Yeah, growing up, I was a big TCG fan. Like I played Magic for the longest time. I played Pokemon.
Yep.
My favorite TCG, and you're gonna laugh, but I'm not even a wrestling fan. Just the card game was stupid fun. There was a WCW Nitro card game.
Oh man, that's amazing! I
played the shit out of that.
There's so many of them out there.
Yeah, and my biggest issue with the Magic, at least around here where I live, the Magic community is it was super inclusive. Like, nobody wanted to talk to each other or help each other out, and that's why I kind of got out of it. My only Magic the Gathering anymore is like once in a while I jump on my computer and play that like online. Yeah,
the arena is fun. Yeah, I do that too. And I get that actually. So I've talked to some people. The newer version of the cards make the game, I think, move along a lot quicker. It like almost like forces an end game quicker, and I think that makes it more casual. Not more. It's still a very complicated game. Like you could play other versions, but I don't know. There's a lot of game modes where you do like double-headed dragon, where you play with a teammate and stuff like that. It's definitely, they've geared it so you can play in groups as well now too. For me, I mean, the event I went to was really cool. And the cool thing about the set they just released, I don't want to talk too much about Magic, but it's based on fairy tales, so that's pretty cool. Like you're getting like really messed up gingerbread men and like, you know, the knight in shining armor, like their version of that, and like Hansel and Gretel. It's pretty cool, like, you know, to see that type of art and those type of cards. And they always add like a new mechanic too, so it's pretty cool, and I really like it. Like I said, just looking at the cards is cool too.
That's a great transition to what I wanted to say. I was in conversation with the gentleman to do a interview today. It just didn't work out due to scheduling. But everybody, like, I found this book. I think it looks really cool. And the guy, fellow New Yorker, Ryan Hack, he has a book coming out called Bric-a-Brac. That's
Hack with Bric-a-Brac.
BRICABRAC. And it's a fantasy Christmas story.
Nice.
It's got a very like Scotty Young feeling art to it, and it's just a cool sounding story with different factions involving Christmas fairy tales. So check that out. It's got a week left on Kickstarter, and it'd be cool to make that happen for him.
Awesome. Yeah, check it out. All right, so we're gonna jump into the news. TV news. So, Hulu's Ghost Rider, if you're excited for that, I'm sorry, it's canceled. There's no more speculation about this show anymore because they were just like, I don't think anybody's going to watch it on Hulu either. And they're probably right. Whether it was a good show or not, I don't think it had a big enough fan base.
I'm just confused because they're still going through with Hellstrom and whatever that other one was, but not Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is really surprising. Ashley Scott has been cast in the Crisis crossover to reprise her role as Huntress from the 2002 Birds of Prey show on CW. Like, first off, nobody knows about the Birds of Prey show.
I forgot it exists until I read that article.
Oh my god! And frankly, I forgot there's a Birds of Prey movie coming out. Which is not to take away. It's probably an awesome movie. Who knows? But dude, they're not pulling any punches on this. And this morning we got our first look at Brandon Ruth as Kingdom Come Superman. Dude, I sent you that picture. I woke up. You wake up, you open your phone. I got to Instagram. I'm like Jim Lee posts this picture. I was like, whoa. And it was him. And the costume looks awesome. Kingdom Come costume. And his hair is like partly gray. And he looks like he's been working out quite a bit. He looks awesome, and almost makes me want to go back and watch Superman Returns.
But not quite, right?
But not quite. Almost. You know, there's this whole thing. Superman Returns is a good sequel to the first Superman movie, but it's not a new Superman movie. You know what I mean?
Brandon Routh wasn't the problem with that movie.
I will say that. Yeah,
but it was both these were really cool. Seeing the costume, awesome.
Yep.
Something we both thought we would never see in our lives.
I know, man. Holy crap! Can you
even
imagine?
With everything going on around us, I was like, Kingdom Come's one of those things that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's holy, man, and it's so far into the lore too. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then as far as the Huntress thing, like, that's insane. Like, I thought that getting the Smallville cast was, like, it. Like, that's as obscure as we're going, even though it's not obscure at all. But we weren't going to go much further. But then, like, they start pulling out Birds of Prey characters. It's like, I want to see it now. Like, I want to know what this show is now.
I wonder if it's just, like, they say that they brought it back. It's just one shot of all them standing there. Like, oh, man.
I mean, it could very well be. I doubt that it's going to be like all these characters get a moment. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them are just cameos. Or it's like, hey, Huntress, what up? Boom. And then like...
yeah, right. And I'm sure... Man, you should write the show. Because that's I can see that. I can see that happening. Like, CW writers are like, add fist bump here. But I want to do something. Okay, you get to fist bump the actual Huntress. There you go. Yeah, it's really, and I'm actually excited to see CW Superman interact with the new CW characters. You know what I mean? Like, I want there to be some some playing off each other of like, oh yeah, like you guys just started. I've been doing this for. I want to see that happen. And I mean, they just keep teasing us with all the stuff. We get this, so now you get this, and it's like, okay, can we just get the episode already?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some cool movie news. Kevin Feige is going to work on a Star Wars movie. Brie Larson and Chris Evans want in. I don't know if they're going to get in. But what do you think about that?
The first part of that, I'm excited because it's Kevin Feige. I mean, It's fantastic. The second part of that, I'll take Chris Evans.
Yeah, Brie Larson is my favorite actress.
I don't have the problem most people have. I just don't think she's that great of an actress.
Yeah,
I think she's very average. So, but either way, just Kevin Feige doing Star Wars, I'm down. And the rumor is that he's trying to get the Russo brothers to direct it. So,
oh man, can you imagine the fight scenes?
Ugh. If those two things come together, like
all my money,
sign me up. Yeah.
They're like JJ who?
Yeah.
He's like, we're just going to build a whole other Star Wars franchise. We're done with Marvel, moving on, going to Star Wars now.
Good thing you signed that contract with Warner, JJ, because no more Star Wars for you.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll do something crazy. But anyways, yeah, that's really exciting. Kevin Feige, obviously the mastermind behind the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So give this dude whatever he wants.
Yeah, I feel like this was just a matter of time.
Some also really good news came out. This kind of got buried for a while. We didn't know what was going to come out of it. Sony and Disney finally made up, and they've come to terms with Spider-Man, and they're going to get one more Spider-Man movie at Disney, under the Disney, characters and stuff like that. And maybe some cameos, and it ended with Disney's going to get a 25 split of profits, but 25%. I mean, it was bound to happen. Like, you can't. Sony could have never made a Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and made it work, I don't think.
What did I say when this popped down that they weren't going to do another MCU Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yeah.
Disney came in with 50%. They really wanted 25%. But it's both good and bad because we're getting one more. We're going to finish out that story. That's great. I'm glad. But then he reverts right back to Sony, and Sony's going to try to put him in Venom too.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the best of one world and the worst of the other. So, but at least we get the conclusion to everything they set up in Far From Home.
I wonder if they're going to maybe they could almost maybe hint that he comes from the cinematic universe, and then if they just focus on Venom, Venom's just a day in the life of Spider-Man, that might be able to work, I think. But the first Venom was such a even the way the movie was shot and stuff, it would feel weird with Tom Holland in it, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough. I like the MCU movies for Spider-Man. I want him to stay there. And Tom Holland fits in with what they're doing. Right. I don't know if Tom Holland fits in with what Sony is doing. So they've said they want to bring Tom Holland back to do Sony movies as well. So there will be, allegedly, more Spider-Man movies starring Tom Holland. Just probably a rebooted story. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of building a darker universe over there. So, in the comics, Spider-Man, fun-loving, throwing out jokes and all that, and then he comes across Venom, who eats people's heads off. Yeah. So it works in the comics, but we'll just have to see. At the end of the day, I'm glad we're getting a conclusion to the MCU Spider-Man. Yeah. And I'll be interested to see who Kevin Feige has next in line to be that, top tier character.
What if they just kill him off? That nobody can use.
There was one report that stated they wanted to do an Endgame style moment with Spider-Man.
Yeah, why not?
Which makes sense, and that's where the whole Sony still wants to use Tom Holland, but they're probably going to reboot his whole story thing comes from. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But
comic news.
Yeah.
Comics. AWA announces their lineup of comics to start a publishing line. It's called Bite. Well, there's a book coming out by Colin Bunn called Bite Sized, and Nelson Blake II. It's a Christmas themed horror book where the toys come to life. Yes,
I'm down. Colin Bunn, do it.
And he's doing such a great job with that Image book. That's got a horror theme to it. Another book coming out, ETER, which sounds kind of fun. Jeff McComsett and Javier Pulido. It's a hospital book with aliens.
With the best tagline of the year, True Universal Healthcare.
That's really good. I might read that now. Just for that tagline, they've got me.
I saw the art for it. The art's really cool. It's got a neat vibe to it. I might check out at least the first issue. Yeah,
I'm definitely checking out the Cullen Bunn book. And then this is pretty interesting. Majori Finnegan is a temporal criminal by Garth Ennis. Yeah. So a Garth Ennis book. I mean, that's pretty huge. And temporal criminal means like time traveling criminal. That's pretty cool. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and then I give them credit for coming out. I mean, AWA announced earlier in the summer that they were doing their thing. And coming out with Colin Bunn and Garth Ennis. Those are two huge names in the industry.
Right.
And there are 3 books that sound interesting. All 3 I would like to check out, at least. Whether I stick with them is another story. But I think this is a great way to come out and start your publishing line.
They all... I mean, I think that's a good variety of books too. Like a horror book, like this fun hospital alien book that I've never heard of something like that before, and then a time traveling criminal by Garth Ennis is going to be nuts.
Yeah,
sure. So the Walking Dead is returning to comic shops November 23rd, local comic shop day. I did not know that. So November 23rd is local comic shop day, everybody. With the one shot titled Walking Dead Alien. This is that's that digital one shot that Brian K. Vaughan had done. This is a few years old already.
Yeah. The only thing there was so it was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Vaughan did a great job with it, but didn't it end in a way that had kind of a cliffhanger that they never resolved?
Yeah, so if you remember, this is the one where she was like a curator at the museum, right? And she ended up like wearing a suit of armor.
Yes.
And getting to the at the end of the issue, she gets to the boat and she says like, I'm Rick Grimes' sister-in-law, or she was some relative to Rick Grimes, I'm pretty sure. It was the cliffhanger. And everyone's like, oh my God, because she's like trying to find Rick and they're on a boat. I remember that. I don't know how I remember that issue so well, but I thought it was really cool. Like, I was like, how's a museum curator going to fight zombies? Oh, she can just put on the suit of armor that's in the museum.
I remember it being something involving Rick, that there was like a relative or something. But
I thought she's like sister-in-law or something like that. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, shit.
So it's interesting, and I think it's a cool thing for Kirkman and Image to do for local comic shop day.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this means they're going to come back with a new book?
I've been wondering because Kirkman said that he's done with Walking Dead.
Yeah,
he did his story. I've been wondering because they're still doing these like novels and everything.
Right.
If he's like, if somebody pitches me a good story in that universe, I'll publish it.
Well, Brian K. Vaughan's got good stories. That's for sure.
I don't quite know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he talked about that with Invincible forever. Invincible originally was supposed to be an ongoing, and he was going to hand it off to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then he decided not to. So it's tough to say. You can never judge with Kirkman. I mean, he's been really good at being kind of shady and tricking us. So we'll find out. But either way, cool thing for him to do for local comic shop day. Yeah,
and I mean, what a great way to test the waters, right? maybe they look at the how many books people are picking up that day, and they're like, "Huh, maybe there still is some interest in Walking Dead."
Yeah.
So that's an easy way for them to check that out. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good story. DC has announced that the Birds of Prey comic has been pushed out and is now getting a Black Label banner. It's coming out February 2020. I mean, hey, Black Label, that's fine for me. I think that's a better idea. More creator-owned, maybe more R-rated stuff. Why not?
Yeah, and I believe it was Brian Azzarello who's writing it, so I'm sure it's got some themes that aren't exactly kid-friendly.
They open it up, they're like, whoa, all right. This is going to Black Label.
When did Harley get a dick?
Wait, so the whole issue is at a sex shop? Issue 1, the Birds of Prey have a sex party. It's like it's like I don't know if this can go on the main book.
Poor Azzarello, that Batman Damned issue is going to follow him his entire career.
I know, dude. The Bat Dick will never be forgotten. Poor guy.
At least not by this guy.
Not by this. He was just like, what was he thinking?
I can't wait for the day. 3 to 5 years down the line, we're at a con together, we're having a good time. Like, dude, it's Brian Azzarello. We should go talk to him. And he's like, yeah, I'll do an interview with you. And he sits down, and I look at him, and I go, so what the fuck is up with that Bat Dick?
Oh, no. He can never escape it, dude. He'll never escape it. All the great stuff he's done, in the past.
Yeah. There's a whole thing going on there with him and DC. He is not happy with what happened down there. Yeah. So I guess he has a exclusive contract, so he's just kind of riding it out now. But yeah, he's an interesting man to follow in the industry if you get a chance.
He just put dicks on everything. That's why he's like, oh yeah, you want to take one dick away? I'm putting all the dicks.
Listen, that's what I've done. Look how far it's gotten me in my life.
Yeah, see? Look at that. All right. DC and Thomas Kincaid Studios have partnered up to create art prints of the DC universe. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Legit art prints, like legit art.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to say that because we all love comic art, and comic art is legit art, but like these are these giant paintings, and they're going to sell them in prints at a more reasonable size to customers. And it's like people who are very... Thomas Kincaid allegedly was like really not all about the whole comic book superhero thing. So it's funny that after he has passed, they just like, yeah, we'll do it.
Tom is gone, so we'll do it.
But the first couple they showed are awesome.
I haven't seen him yet, but that's something I love, stuff like that to like hang in my apartment. It's not like hitting you in the face with a comic book, but it's just like it's like a really good art style or something like that. I don't know. Yeah,
check them out. One of the first ones was a Batman one, and it's awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. All right, Marvel has announced they're retitling the Marvel Zombies reboot to Marvel Zombies. Wait for it. Resurrection. Well, I mean, yeah, you're bringing something back from the dead, so makes sense to me.
Yeah, the joke going around is that Todd McFarlane wasn't happy because they called it Respawned.
Oh.
I doubt that's the reason, but...
He's like, hey, but my book over here... It's like, Todd, shut up. Nobody's reading Spawn anymore. There's a couple people, but...
Listen, you've been printing it just so you can get to 300, so you can go on the news and be like, I got 300.
Yeah, they're like, okay, Todd, go back into your cave now.
Yeah, not a lot to say there. Just want to let people know.
Yep. Rumor and speculation corner. Dun, 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 dun. So this isn't news yet.
This is my favorite corner.
Yeah. Marvel is said to be doing a line-wide shuffling. So this is pretty interesting. Most characters get a new number one in 2020, along with new creative teams. Some of those characters, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America, are the first to receive the treatment. And this one, speculation. Also, it is said that Donny Cates will be taking over the Thor with a new rebrand. So you got Chris's favorite character, Thor, and then you got Chris's favorite writer, Donny Cates. Happy birthday, buddy.
So
hopefully it's true. I hope it's true.
I wasn't a Thor fan until Jason Aaron took over.
Yeah.
I tried him a few times, and I was like, okay, he's has a hammer. Go hammer some nails. And then Jason Aaron just made him interesting for me. So
yeah.
Originally, I was like, okay, you guys show me who the creative team is, and if it's someone I like, I'll try it out. If not, I'm just dumping it.
You're like, okay, but if you don't have a good, and they're like, okay, Donny Cates. You're like,
I guess I'll try it.
You're like, damn it, that was the one.
The more exciting thing here for me is that Captain America is in there.
I was gonna say.
So there's a lot of talk going around because Marvel, for some godforsaken reason, loves Ta-Nehisi Coates, and we don't know if it's going to be that Cap gets rebranded and Coates stays with the book, or if they just do something new with Cap again. So I'm hoping it's the latter and we get a new creative team. We'll be talking about that here in a minute, but as far as Guardians, I've loved Guardians, so it's kind of sad to see Cates go, but
yeah,
if he goes to Thor and he kills it on Thor, I'm down for that. And they said that a lot of the whole thing I read said a lot of the stuff we're seeing recently, like the what was it, Doctor Strange Surgeon Supreme, is a part of this.
Oh, okay.
And a few others where they're trying to transition to these new number ones. And it's not necessarily that you get a new creative team, meaning everybody's brand new, but that they're kind of like shuffling it around. So once Incoming is done and Marvel 1001 is done, they can usher into 2020 with their new set of guidelines and hit the ground running. All I hope that comes out of it is we get a new creative team for Cap.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel about Batman. Well, but we know what's coming. So let's talk about what we read this week. Woohoo!
Yay!
I'm going to talk about the one I most recently read because I didn't write notes down for it. Is it Star Wars: Age of the Resistance? Is that what it's called? The
Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren. Yep. Number 1. Did you read that one?
I didn't.
Okay. Tom Taylor again. So just to recap, these Star Wars Age of Resistance are like one-shots of along the timeline, I think, between Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
This one follows Kylo Ren, obviously, and he lands on a planet that Darth Vader has tried to negotiate with before and had a big war, and he kind of failed with his negotiations. I don't know if this was in a past comic, because when they show the battle, it's like Kylo Ren on one side and then like Darth Vader on the other doing kind of the same thing. The issue was that these guys summoned their god and Darth Vader couldn't kill it, so they had to retreat. The god ends up being like this giant, it's a type of creature, but it's like this giant worm that they can't kill. And so Kylo jumps in the mouth of it and like slices it up and kills it. And so the planet like bows to him and says, okay, now you guys got to worship the First Order. But it was a really cool issue. It shows like how aggressive Kylo is, how kind of hard-headed he is and doesn't listen to reason and like negotiation. He's a very proud person. It was really cool. These one-shots have been really cool to me so far. And I thought it was a nice Kylo story to be like, man, he's pretty badass. But
I'm glad you're enjoying them because I feel the same way. Like, even down to like there was a Jabba the Hutt one,
right?
That was interesting. Like they've been really well crafted. They're doing great character pieces, and I hope more people check them all out.
Yeah, Freedom Fighters number 9.
I'm gonna stop you right here. So I literally got my books yesterday, so I have read next to nothing. So,
all right. Well,
go ahead with your books.
Okay. I don't want to spoil anything for you, buddy. It's your birthday, but I'm going to talk about Freedom Fighters. So Freedom Fighters number 9, dude. Where do I? So Black Condor, he's fighting that big battle at the Razzi complex. They bring reinforcements, so they're looking pretty bad. Well, he gets the plastic man serum and he takes it, so he becomes a plastic man himself, and then just kills everyone. Like, yeah, he takes the Razzi guys and like crushes them, and then he feels awful about it. But basically, they're like, the people that he saved are like, you go ahead, you save your friends, we're gonna take care of the rest of Detroit. So he started an uprising, and reignited everybody's spirit to fight back. So that was pretty cool. Meanwhile, Human Bomb is still being tortured by Hitler's grandson. So that
Adolf
was
Hitler the Third.
So he found a cool way to torture him, though, because he's a human bomb, so he can't like cut him or anything. He like puts him in like a pressurization chamber, so he's just like overloading him with pressure. Like, it's pretty crazy. And then from the last issue, we find out that Doll Woman has been captured, so he goes to torture her to get info out of the human bomb, which is that's how he's going to get the info, not by torturing him, pretty much torturing this fellow hero. So that's going on, and so pretty much by the end of it, we're going to see the big fight between everybody. And now that Black Condor has the plastic man serum, he's got to come save his friends because they think he's dead. All they heard in the transmission was like there was a fight, and then the transmission went dead, so they don't know where Black Condor is right now. So it's really good.
All I have to say is more Earth X Freedom Fighters. Do it.
Dial H for Hero, number 7, dude. This issue was nuts. So we know like everybody in Metropolis got to turn into a hero for an hour. Robbie Reed, the original Dial H hero, runs the Heroverse. So he's kind of like narrating the beginning. The first page is all like heroes from different franchises. Like they're obviously like one's like the Shredder. One is like an X-Men character. It's pretty funny. Like when you look at him, you're like, oh, and one's Yohimbo, the samurai guy. It's pretty funny.
Rabbit.
The Samurai Rabbit, dude. And then we get like 3 little short stories of new characters. So you would love this one. His name is Sir. He's a knight, so it's Sir Prize. He's a knight, and he shows up like surprise. He's like a very flamboyant knight. So, and they're like, "Well, tell us awesome origin." So it tells you like what he's doing, right? So Surprise is a ridiculous new hero, who's trying to impress his lover, and like he's like, "I'm never good enough for this guy." Why doesn't he want me? And so he's like, "Well, now I'm this really nice, gallant knight. I'm gonna go impress the guy that I want." And so he goes to his apartment. And he finds that the guy is already like either dating or hooking up with like a He-Man type hero. So he walks in, the guy is like in a loincloth that looks like He-Man, and he's like, "I'm never good enough." It was so ridiculous. Like it was, he's like, "You're still not as macho." But it was such a ridiculous little short story. I'm like, this is hilarious. So what he does is he joins a superhero team they're all like not perfect, you know what I mean? Some are heavy set and some are one's in a wheelchair. So he joins like this very wholesome like superhero group of like people that feel like they don't belong. And I'm like, wow, that got really interesting at the end there.
Did it turn into the Burger King's kids club team?
Yeah, exactly that. Yes, and that's exactly what it looked like. The screen, the shot of it. There's another one called Phantasma. She's basically Spectre with her powers. But she's pissed off at LexCorp because she has a lot of medical bills that she needs to pay off. Sounds pretty relevant to something that happens, today, right? So she just basically goes to LexCorp and destroys the place and gets LexCorp to pay off all of their hospital debt, like out of Lex Luthor's pocket, because they're like, exploiting people and being jerks. The craziest one. So throughout the whole issue, you keep seeing this one hero, and she's like an anime style character that can fly, and she's just very happy and smiling. You see her like she almost looks like a fairy flying around, and like you see her from panel to panel, and like, oh, well, that person looks happy, and they're saving people. And a lot of these new heroes like aren't inspired to like save people. They're just taking, they're being selfish and fixing their own lives. So the last one, you get this. It's the person's called Futuristic Detective Flamingo, and they're this little short pink-haired girl with a detective glass, and she doesn't believe that this hero flying around smiling is doing good. Like, she thinks this hero is putting on a facade or something. Like, there's no way this person is happy this all the time, right? So like, she spends the rest of the issue trying to investigate. She's like, I know you're up to something. And then by the end of the issue, the hour is up. So Futuristic Detective, she turns back into a regular human girl. And this hero that has been flying around, smiling at everybody, helping everyone, turns into a therapy dog. So what had happened is, like, the therapy dog got a hold of a phone because it's trained to call 911 when their owner gets in trouble. So it happened to dial as the Heroverse thing was happening. So it got turned into a creep, and it's always happy because it's a dog. So it's just flying around. It was such a great ending to the book, man. I was like, this is amazing. Like, and that's why I wanted to help everyone, because it was a therapy dog. I'm like, this writing is phenomenal. It is such a good series. I can't get over the series, man. It's so much fun. Shazam #7 is going to be your favorite book, dude. It's, I'm not really spoiling anything. We go to the Wonderlands. We haven't seen that yet. And the Wonderlands is just like Alice in Wonderland, is one of the 7 magic lands.
Okay.
And then I'm starting to think, I'm like, do they own these characters? I'm like, pretty much, because, like Warner Brothers, and I guess it is part of the continuity somehow.
Alice in Wonderland is a what do they call it? Anyone can use them.
Oh, okay.
And Batman does have a villain called the Mad Hatter.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. You're right. Yeah. Oh yeah, and there's Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Okay. Well, Mary and Billy are back at home, so they tell their parents about their superpowers because they need to go save their other siblings. Fred and Darla are stuck in the wildlands still with all the animals. They're about to be thrown to a tiger pit. One of the tigers doesn't feel like they should be eating humans anymore. Like, there's like they're at that moment, they're about to be eaten. One of the tigers thinks we're better than this. We don't need to be eating humans. So they make a tiger friend that's getting them out of there. Pedro and Eugene are looking for Alice in Wonderland with the wizard that gives Shazam his powers, because they think Alice can solve all these to get them home. Alice can get them home. We find out at the end of the issue that wizard is an imposter that's tricking them, which is pretty cool. As Shazam goes to save his friends, he's being followed by Dr. Sivana and Mr. Mind, and they cast him to, we haven't seen this yet either, the Darklands. So when Shazam gets casted there, he sees all the graves of his siblings, and it basically says, like, you need to, or at least the graves of Fred and Darla, because they go from the wildlands, they fall into the Darklands, they get caught in a trap. So he sees the graves of them. It's like, you can save them, but you need to climb this dark tower and ring a bell. And that's like where he ended up in the end of the issue. He's in the Darklands. And it's like, you know how bright and fun of a book it is? It's completely like black. It's like not black, but it's like a swamp moor style. It's going to get interesting, dude. It was a really good issue. Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Cool.
Batman White Knight 3. We get a little more insight into what's going on. The background of like the Wayne, the ancient Wayne thing that happened. Renee Montoya becomes a new commissioner, and Harley is actually pregnant with the Joker's, Jack, I guess, before he was the Joker.
Oh, Napier.
Yeah, and I think they're twins, so there's that. Batman Superman #2, Shazam Who Laughs. Dude, the cover of this book, awesome. The beginning few issues is a fight between Superman, Batman, and evil Shazam. Like, what more could you want out of a book, dude? Like, what like, that's it. That's worth the money in itself. Batman makes a comment like, I hate magic, because like Superman and Shazam go off and fight in the air at some point. It's just like, I can't do anything. But he does end up like grabbing the bat plane from the Batman Who Laughs and like crashes it into stuff. So we find out, well, Supes and Bats lose. They end up in the Fortress of Solitude recovering. Excuse me. We find out that 6 batarangs have been created to poison 6 different heroes. Shazam was one of the heroes. All those batarangs are specific to those heroes, so they need to find the 5 other heroes that he wants to possess. And if it's someone that's not like Shazam, I don't think is in the main rotation of like the Justice League. So I'm really interested to see who the other 5 heroes are that are pretty strong. I think it's going to be really cool. So we know that Gordon is not on their side, Commissioner Gordon, right? And by the end of it, Commissioner Gordon's helping the Batman Who Laughs work his plan out, but Batman Who Laughs is in jail. He's Batman has him captured like underground. So we don't know who Commissioner Gordon is working with. We see him talking to someone. So we know that Shazam had a batarang for Superman. So they say, okay, well, how are we going to get info out of the Batman Who Laughs? It's like, why don't we pretend for Superman to be infected? So by the end of the issue, they send an infected Superman down to talk to, like, break in and try to get some info out of the Batman Who Laughs. So that's going to be the next issue. It's a really good issue. This is what I want a Batman Superman book. Like, this is some cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
Such a fun book. And that would be it for the week, Christopher. So.
Okay. I had a chance to read 2 books.
Okay.
Captain America number 14. This was 23 pages of a Ta-Nehisi Coates article about how toxic masculinity sucks. Moving on.
No. Burn it.
Then I read Harleen number 1.
Oh yeah,
which was that book by Stefan Chizek, which I basically bought because I just love the dude's art.
Yeah.
It ended up being a fairly interesting story, and it might be because I don't read a ton of Harley Quinn stuff. So take that with what it is. But it really was kind of the backstory of Harley before she became Harley Quinn. And we get kind of her past, growing up a little bit, why she became a therapist, and then how she ends up in Arkham working. And it's that whole story, and kind of her monologuing through it as to what's going on. Her first encounter with Joker on the street, first encounter with Batman before she's Harley Quinn and she's Harleen Quinzel. And all leading up to the moment where she first interviews Joker. It's very interesting because she has an encounter with Joker, and that kind of haunts her for a while, where she has these dreams, and the dreams kind of shift into Joker's the bad guy, Batman's the bad guy, and you could tell she's slowly kind of losing it. And they also make it so that Bruce Wayne is partially responsible for her being there and interviewing the Joker, because she gives this presentation. She wants to find out. They've basically tried to connect PTSD with why these people turn insane. So you will open the book with her interviewing this Marine who kind of went rogue and ended up killing a bunch of kids in a hospital. And her whole thing was like, through these moments and through PTSD and other things, people lose empathy, and through that loss of empathy is what causes them to become career criminals. That's her theory. I would say I suggest it. The art is fantastic. The story's kind of cool. And this issue, you don't get Harley per se, so there's no like over the top Margot Robbie style Harley Quinn. There's just a really good, strong character that's being built through this prestige format chapter. So cool. I really, really liked it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
So, Mike, with that, where can people find you on the internet?
Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show, Chris?
Well, they can find me at Fortress Chris, or they can find the show at FCN_official on Twitter, as well as FortressComicNews.com, where everything we do is right there on that handy-dandy website. Remember, everybody, if you're enjoying what we're doing here, to go to patreon.com/FortressComicNews, where hopefully next month we'll have an announcement, Mike. And, yeah, do all the 5-star reviews, do all the likes, subscribe, shares, and all that stuff. You share with a friend, it means the world. So everybody, thanks for listening, and I guess we'll see y'all next week.
All right.